In the fast-paced world of interior design, 2025 marks a significant return to gentle authenticity with the resurgence of vintage floral styling that combines feminine elegance with rustic romantic touches. This thoughtful design approach creates spaces that feel both timelessly beautiful and deeply personal, offering a welcoming alternative to the minimalist trends that have dominated recent years. By embracing soft florals, pastel palettes, and carefully curated vintage elements, these interiors create havens of tranquility and beauty that speak to our collective desire for homes that feel genuinely nurturing and soul-nourishing.
Welcome to Rustic Elegance. Let's embark on a journey through the beauty of rustic decor, celebrating the warmth, simplicity, and natural charm of this timeless design.
Vintage Floral Home Styling 2025 Elegant Feminine Interiors with Rustic Romance. What makes this 2025 trend particularly compelling is its adaptability across various home styles, from urban apartments to countryside cottages. The key lies in its balanced approach to feminine design elements that avoid becoming overly precious through the strategic introduction of rustic touches like weathered woods, imperfect finishes, and handcrafted details. This juxtaposition creates spaces with depth and character that feel lived in rather than staged, authentic rather than contrived. The vintage floral aesthetic celebrates the beauty of natural patina, the charm of handmade imperfection, and the warmth that comes from surrounding ourselves with objects that carry histories and stories. As we explore the various expressions of this enchanting design direction, you'll discover practical approaches to incorporating vintage floral elements throughout your home with a contemporary sensitivity that ensures spaces feel fresh rather than outdated. From romantic living rooms that invite lingering conversations to dreamy bedroom retreats that promote genuine rest, these ideas offer inspiration for creating interiors that feel both current and timeless. Whether you're drawn to the soft pastels of French country charm or the more vibrant patterns of English cottage style, these guidelines will help you craft spaces that reflect your personal interpretation of vintage floral elegance with a distinctly 2025 sensibility. One. Romantic living rooms with floral decor accents. Design a feminine living space with vintage flair. A pastel color scheme featuring soft blush, sage green, and creamy neutrals creates the perfect backdrop for a romantic living room with vintage appeal. Incorporate strategically placed floral fabrics through cushions, throws, and curtains to add pattern and feminine charm without overwhelming the space. Complete the setting with antique-inspired lighting features like crystal table lamps, brass floor lamps with fabric shades, or delicate pendant fixtures that cast a warm, flattering glow throughout your vintage-inspired living area. Statement floral sofas and shabby chic furniture. A beautifully upholstered sofa in vintage floral fabric instantly becomes the heart of your living space, creating a bold yet elegant focal point that anchors the entire room. Pair this statement piece with distressed white or cream furniture featuring gentle curves and carved details for a balanced look that feels both feminine and substantial. Introduce occasional tables with glass tops, painted finishes, or subtle gold accents to enhance the elegant vintage aesthetic, while maintaining the practical functionality essential for comfortable daily living. Layered textures and soft finishes for elegance. Combining multiple textural elements, like velvet cushions against linen upholstery, crocheted throws draped over painted wood, and silk lampshades near rustic woven baskets, creates rich visual depth that makes vintage floral interiors feel luxurious and inviting. Soft window treatments using sheer fabrics, lace panels, or gently gathered curtains filter light beautifully while adding romantic movement and softness to the architectural elements of your living space. Finishing touches like hand-knotted or vintage-inspired rugs in faded floral patterns ground the space with warmth and comfort, while connecting to the room's overall romantic narrative. Two, soft pastel bedroom retreats with vintage charm. Create a calm and romantic atmosphere with pastel hues. The 2025 approach to vintage bedrooms embraces a sophisticated pastel palette featuring blush pink, mint green, powder blue, and lavender tones that create serene, dreamy retreats. These gentle hues appear on walls, bedding, and accessories, enveloping the space in soft color that promotes rest while maintaining visual interest and depth. Enhancing these pastel foundations with white furniture featuring distressed finishes, curved silhouettes, and delicate details creates the perfect balance of feminine charm and practical comfort essential for a well-designed bedroom sanctuary. Vintage floral bedding and antique accents that wow. Layer your bed with quality linens featuring subtle floral prints, embroidered details, and scalloped or lace-trimmed edges that invite touch and create visual richness. Vintage-inspired quilts, coverlets, and cushions in complementary pastel tones add dimensional interest, while providing practical comfort in your romantic bedroom retreat. Thoughtfully chosen accent pieces, perhaps an antique dressing table with an ornate mirror, a painted armoire with floral details, or a Victorian-inspired bedside lamp, add character and functionality while reinforcing the room's vintage narrative. Pastel-inspired furniture makeover ideas. Transform existing wooden furniture with quality chalk or milk paint in soft pastel shades, distressing edges gently to reveal hints of the wood beneath for authentic vintage character. Replace standard hardware with crystal knobs, ceramic pulls with hand-painted floral details, or delicate brass handles to elevate basic pieces into romantic statement furniture that feels custom designed for your space. Consider adding decorative elements like appliques, gilding, or decoupage floral details to flat surfaces for an extra layer of vintage-inspired embellishment that makes each piece feel special and unique. Three, floral wall art and antique frames for romantic interiors. Add personality with vintage floral prints. Botanical illustrations, watercolor flower paintings, and vintage-inspired floral prints become powerful design elements when displayed in antique gold frames or distressed white shadow boxes throughout your home. Select artwork featuring flowers that complement your color scheme, perhaps peonies and roses in pink interiors, lavender and wisteria in purple spaces, or softly colored wildflowers for a more casual cottage aesthetic. For a personalized approach, consider framing vintage floral fabrics, delicate pressed flowers from your garden, or hand-painted floral designs that connect deeply to your personal aesthetic and experiences. Rustic wall styling with gallery frames. Create visual impact with thoughtfully arranged gallery walls that combine varied frame styles, ornate gold, simple painted wood, and distressed vintage finds, unified by a cohesive color palette and harmonious content. Mix classical floral oil paintings with more contemporary botanical illustrations, mirrors with beveled edges, and perhaps vintage photographs or handwritten letters for a collected over time feeling that adds authentic character. Position your gallery arrangement where it can reflect natural light from windows or be enhanced by picture lights or sconces, allowing the frame's metallic details and artwork colors to change subtly throughout the day. DIY vintage frame decor hacks. Transform inexpensive thrift store frames into custom design elements using techniques like dry brushing with chalk paint, applying gold leaf to edges, or creating a whitewash finish with watered-down paint and gentle sanding. Arrangement strategies like leaning larger frames on mantels or consoles rather than hanging them creates casual elegance, while making it easier to refresh your displays seasonally. Consider framing unexpected items, vintage handkerchiefs with floral embroidery, botanical specimens under glass, or antique lace fragments, to create one-of-a-kind wall art that connects to the vintage floral theme while expressing your unique vision. Four, Cottagecore kitchen corners with feminine touches. Designing a romantic and practical vintage kitchen. Blend functionality with romantic charm by incorporating open shelving made from reclaimed wood or painted in soft pastel shades to display collections of floral china, vintage glassware, and antique kitchen tools. Introduce pattern through floral or gingham curtains, a vintage-inspired runner, or cushions on breakfast nook seating to add warmth without overwhelming the space. Consider painting wooden cabinets in cream, soft sage, or pale blue with distressed details at edges and corners, creating a perfect backdrop for brass hardware, copper accents, or ceramic knobs with hand-painted floral motifs. Floral fabrics and rustic wood details. Layer textiles thoughtfully throughout your kitchen, perhaps a linen tablecloth with embroidered flower details, cotton dish towels with subtle stripes or checks, and chair cushions in complementary floral prints to create a coordinated yet relaxed aesthetic. Balance these feminine elements with the substantial presence of rustic wooden pieces like a farmhouse table, thick cutting boards displayed vertically, or wooden crates repurposed as display shelves. Incorporate practical vintage elements like enamelware pitchers filled with fresh flowers, ceramic canisters with hand-painted details, or antique breadboards leaned against backsplashes to create a kitchen that feels both pretty and purposeful. Upcycle decor for a budget-friendly kitchen makeover. Transform inexpensive glass jars into charming storage containers by adding vintage-style labels, painting lids in pastel colors, or tying ribbons around their necks for an instant cottagecore update. Create visual interest by grouping collections, perhaps vintage teacups, floral plates, or colored glassware, on open shelves or in glass-fronted cabinets where they serve as both functional items and decorative elements. Consider unexpected repurposing ideas like turning vintage wooden spools into knife blocks, using antique picture frames to create serving trays, or mounting old shutters horizontally as pot racks for affordable solutions that add authentic vintage character. Five. Entryway styling with floral elegance and rustic accents. Welcoming guests with feminine vintage decor. Create an inviting first impression with a carefully styled entry console featuring a mix of practical and beautiful elements, perhaps a tarnished silver tray for mail, a small floral arrangement in a vintage pitcher, and a pretty dish for keys. Illuminate the space with soft, flattering light from a table lamp with a fabric shade, wall sconces with gentle diffusion, or a small chandelier with crystal details if ceiling height permits. Add warmth underfoot with a vintage-inspired runner featuring faded floral patterns or soft stripes, creating both practical protection for flooring and an immediate introduction to your home's romantic aesthetic. Antique finds and DIY floral arrangements. Incorporate character through thoughtfully selected vintage pieces, perhaps a weathered wooden bench with a cushion and floral fabric, an antique mirror with a patinated frame, or a repurposed piano stool as a versatile side table. Create impact with seasonal floral arrangements that welcome guests and bring life to your entryway, using vintage vessels like crackle-glazed ceramic vases, milk glass containers, or tarnished metal pitchers as unexpected vessels. Consider adding practical vintage elements like iron coat hooks, a repurposed wooden ladder for throw blankets, or an antique umbrella stand to combine functionality with decorative appeal in this important transitional space. Small space styling for entry nooks. Maximize limited entry areas by thinking vertically, installing a vintage-inspired shelf with hooks beneath for both display space and practical storage in a compact footprint. Create a jewel box effect in tiny entryways by using a statement wallpaper with floral pattern, painting the ceiling in a soft complementary color, or adding picture rail molding for architectural interest that draws the eye upward. Ensure functionality through multipurpose pieces like a small bench with storage inside, wall-mounted mail slots with vintage appeal, or a narrow console that provides surface area without protruding too far into precious floor space. Conclusion. The revival of vintage floral styling in 2025 represents more than just an aesthetic preference. It reflects a collective yearning for homes that feel authentic, personal, and nurturing in an increasingly digital world. By incorporating elements with history, handcrafted details, and natural beauty, these interiors create environments that encourage genuine connection and moments of respite from our fast-paced lives. The thoughtful balance of feminine elegance with rustic romance creates spaces that feel both beautiful and approachable, designed for living rather than simply for admiration. As you incorporate these ideas into your own home, remember that the most successful vintage-inspired interiors avoid literal recreation of the past in favor of a more nuanced approach that honors historical elements while embracing contemporary comforts. The charm of this style lies in its imperfections, the gentle wear on painted furniture, the subtle fading of floral fabrics, the irregular forms of handmade ceramics, which create spaces that feel evolved rather than manufactured. These thoughtful imperfections tell stories of lives well lived and create homes that feel deeply personal rather than showroom perfect. Perhaps most importantly, the vintage floral aesthetic invites us to slow down and appreciate the subtle beauty in our daily surroundings. The way morning light filters through lace curtains, the tactile pleasure of a hand-embroidered pillow, or the simple joy of fresh flowers arranged in an antique vessel. In embracing these elements, we create homes that nurture not just our physical comfort, but our emotional well-being, providing spaces where memories can be made and simple moments can be savored. This celebration of beauty in everyday living may be the most valuable aspect of the vintage floral revival, offering a timeless approach to home that transcends trends while creating truly meaningful environments.